I'm going to give you some tips for searching for clusters. A lot of people don't know this. Pro tip for searching trade. You can do this for pretty much anything, but this is extremely beneficial when you're looking at specifically cluster jewels. First off, you can obviously double check, you know, cluster jewel. In this case, we're going to use a large minion damage one. You can search in Craft of Exile for this and go for minion damage. You can see what item level you'll need. So for example, if you're doing for the meta big one, you're going to want the 35% effect. That requires item level 84. So we're not going to utilize this for this specific item we're going to search for. How do you then do this very easily? Here's the first tip. Just search for, literally search for a large cluster jewel. Just like this. Click enter. Use the magnifying glass. This little button right there. Click on that. That will copy those stats that this specific item had. Put them in the search bar. What you do now is clean this shit up. How many passives do we want on our large cluster? Let's double check my POV. I want 8. Well, all I have to do is put 8 as max here. I don't have to search for this anymore. I just took it from the search right here. I want minion damage, so I'll just search for minion damage here. Now I don't have to worry about that one either. This one is the same on all. Don't have to look at that. I'll take all of these away. And now I'm going to search for 3 very specific modifiers. Well, actually 2 that I'm going to be looking for. So we start off by using the tilde or tilde. I'm not sure how the correct pronunciation is. And then I can literally search for words that are included, letters that are included in the modifier that I'm looking for. They don't have to be in order. They just have to be included in that order. So if I say I'm looking for small passive, added passives has 35% increased effect, I can literally just do this without looking. Well, passives is PA, then a space. Small, let's instead of taking the first 2 letters, let's just say small, MA, and then space and effect. Well, it's ECT at the end. Oh, the very top for search here says add a small passive skills have increased effects. It's such a smart and simple way to do this. You can do this as well for, say, implicit minion deal damage. Here, oh shit, implicit minion damage. Let's look for a fractured minion deal damage. Look at this. Now I have this as well. Like, this makes this so much fucking easier. 40C. Holy shit, I'm going broke doing this. It's a very effective way to search for this. When a modifier has a specific name, like notables, you just search for them. In my case, I'm going to want the Feasting Fiends. And the other one would be a renewal. So here's another thing when it comes to large clusters. We're going to have to go back and utilizing Craft of Exile for this. No, Path of Building for this. I am looking for a very specific large cluster that has Vicious Bite here. Now, Vicious Bite tends to be expensive, and it takes a little higher item level to get this one. However, the reason we use it has more to do with the fact that it's on the other side of the fucking planet on this cluster. You don't really need this. You can use other notables or a passive. But I'm going to show you what happens if I change this Vicious Bite to a non-notable modifier. So we change this to Intelligence, just for the sake of it. Suddenly, Renewal is in that position. And instead, I get a small passive. So to get my Renewal, I have to go around. But if I have Vicious Bite, I can skip those 2 nodes and save myself 2 levels to get to the perfect state of the build and get the last 2 as a bonus damage later. That's why we're looking for the Vicious Bite. So if these jewels are expensive, which we're about to find out, or exist, Vicious Bite, 2 Divines. I mean, for a medium bite, I think it's fine, but we can cut the cost down for this, because if we remove the Vicious Bite, also another tip there, you can disable the search by just checking this. So if you wanted to go back to it, you can just add that again. So we search for without Vicious Bite, and suddenly it's 40 fucking chaos. Now, my character's level enough to do this without thinking about it, but we're going to buy a cheaper one, but we can look for other things. How do I get Feasting Fiends and Renewal down here? Now, a large cluster can have 2 prefix notable, but it can only have 1 suffix notable. So because of us knowing this and knowing that Vicious Bite is indeed a suffix, in Craft of Exile can then see that, well, there's Call to Slaughter. How will it look with Call to Slaughter? It's ending up on the top side. Would you look at that? We then take a look at Primordial Bond. Primordial Bond is then Call to Slaughter. Completely fucking useless for this build, by the way. And that ends up on the far side as well. So what we then can do is, instead of doing this, because this is in this stat here, you can change this with a little, I guess that's a pen. You can change this. It says add. That means that the item that I'm searching for has to have these modifiers. I'm going to add a stat group and say count. In here, I will tell this pathofexcel.com/trade that in this list, the items will only have one of these modifiers. Then I will do this, and I will add Vicious Bite. I will add Call to Slaughter, or Call to the Slaughter, and Primordial Bond, and then say, well, 1. So this will take these modifiers and 1 of these. And now we can see that instead of 2 divines, I can buy this shit for 150C or 1 divine. Much cheaper. In our case, we will go for the Vicious Bite because it actually is the only one that gives us a little bit of damage. Or we can skip it, and instead of doing any of these, I can literally disable this entirely by checking these and then going in. Well, we can just literally remove them. And instead, I can say, well, it's a suffix. So how about I add small passive, add min attack speed at 3, because that's a tier 1. Oh, would you look at that? That's 8 fucking divs, so I did not expect that. How about 2% then? This would be fucking fantastic, but it would, for this specific build, require me to be leveled enough. So I can do it because my character is leveled enough to handle it. So we can look at other things that this build is suffering from right now, and we talked about this earlier. That is the fact that grant Chaos Rest. I'm very bad on Chaos Rest because I've been keeping the budget down, and we can see that that's even cheaper. So if I look at the highest one of those, 1 divine for 8. Now the problem is, as you can see, if this turns into small, it's still an 8 passive cluster. And with the current way I planned this build, that means 1, 2, and this would change. That would be for the current level 3 of these nodes. So I'll pay a divine to get 15% Chaos Rest. Maybe not the smartest decision, but there is an option to do so. But that's a tip I have for you when it comes to pathofexcel.com/trade, how to utilize the functions of searching. There's plenty more to do, like you can look at buy orders by clicking the About button. Looks like this. You can set that up. A lot of descriptions of how to do that, and much, much more. But how to search is just such a small, very, very crucial detail to make this much more smooth to work with, and how to check where the notables are actually going to land by using POB and looking at Craft of Excel for item level restrictions on modifiers you're looking for.